So at the start of the year, I said to myself, I'm going to try and create one video a day for the rest of the year. I think I made that commitment to myself on the 2nd of January. And so far, I failed. I'm not go- I'm not gonna lie, I failed. Today is the 10th, and I think I've managed to do maybe about 6 or 7 videos if I'm counting right. Which means I owe you guys 3 videos because I'm going to try and catch up with areas where I fall short. So the only reason I'm saying this beforehand is because I did mention in my first video that I want you guys to be my accountability partner. It's not easy. Um, I'm not gonna lie, it's not easy. It's difficult, especially when you want to try and create value around social issues and how personal development and self improvement and how people could be better versions of themselves. And you want to make sure that everything that you put out there um, at least impacts is one person, just one person, not necessarily everyone, because loads of people have better stuff to say than me, or loads of people would agree or disagree with my perspective, which is fine, is not an issue. But what I've now realized, or what I thought about today, is the fact that you're your own brand. Yeah. In this day, age, space of technological media, um, people don't follow brands no more. People actually follow people. So when you look at all your favorite celebs, your Kata Efes, your iShow Spees, Kaiser Signer, I don't know, Portable, for instance, all your favorite celebs. They run a business behind their personal face, but their personal face is their brand. But behind that face is the business. And literally, that's the way media is going now, whether social or conventional media. You have to put a face in front of that media for you to be able to build audience, grow a fan base, direct eyeballs to your creation. You have to be able to grow a media of fans, and that could only done by physical presence. I know AI is coming to take over our jobs, but someone still needs to feed information into AI, and someone still needs to train AI even before we get there. But that's a story for a different day. I mean, so I got to this place where I thought to myself, if you don't create your own personal brand, even as a website developer, I've realized now my logo, my website, what I create for you is not your brand. You, who are the face of that brand, needs to come out as Steve Jobs was the face behind Apple. I don't know who done Samsung for some reason, but and that's why Apple has become, a trillion zillion dollar company, because people could relate to the founder. People need to be able to relate to you as the founder of your brand. So whether you're doing your weave, your weave on, your wigs, your beauty pageants, your fashion designing, mechanical workshop, plumber, whatever, people need to be able to relate to the face behind the brand, because that's eventually what's going to build trust and what's going to be able to build audience engagement. When people goes wrong, they know they could go to a face of a brand and put forward their grievances. And that's where I've come to at this point. So regardless of whether I fell short or not, I'm still going to continue. I'm going to total up all the days I miss out and eventually probably be adding up slow by slow. But the idea is to just build that consistency, because it's difficult, especially not being a full-time content creator. Amidst everything else that I need to do, I set the goal regardless, and the goal is what's going to continue to motivate me and push myself forward. And I think you should do the same, because in context of you being the face of your brand, the only reason why you're not showing up the way you should be showing up on social media, or the only reason why you probably might have an epileptic way of showing up as an entrepreneur, not as a 9 to 5, is because you've got what I could call a visibility wound. Because the truth is, whether you want to believe it or not, you are visible to people out there, whether it's in people's base personal data, whether it's in people's webcams, dash cams, CCTV monitors, in the stores you go to, you know, in your shop, at your grocery stores or so, there's CCTV that's capturing you all around. All it takes is for you to walk behind one camera and something happens, and whilst they're videoing the whole scene, your face shows up, not as the culprit, but, you know, as someone who was in that surrounding. And they put it out on social media, and people will be able to point to, oh, that's so and so. So whether you're letting another person leverage on your image, or you want to leverage, you want to use that your image to gain profit and leverage on it and put it out there, as well as put your, you know, what you're doing out there, that's totally up to you. And some of the reasons why I think people have epileptic appearance, I cannot say that word right, but I hope I am, epileptic appearances on social media, boils down to maybe their childhood beliefs, their fear of getting judged, their imposter syndrome, you know, that they might be suffering from, the fear of success, cultural, you know, setbacks or cultural beliefs or programming, whatever it might be. All those things, as far as I'm concerned, are the things that make you lean behind, or epileptic epileptic showing up on social media. I'll show up this way or that way, you know. And I'm talking as an entrepreneur. Do not get me wrong, because I feel the stage we're in, as I said, in the internet space and social media space, is social media is not just for scrolling and liking. It's actually a means of distribution and information, which is what the media part of that social all entails. You know, media is giving out information and distributing some form of communication to people. And regardless of whether you want to believe it or not, every single person has something to give out there. You know, every single person, you know, just like you have something to pass on to the children that you born, you know, or to the colleagues that work under you, or to the training that you give at your workplace, or every single person has something to give in their own unique way. Now, whether you want to give it out or whether you want to harbor it, that again will be totally up to you. My prayer is that we don't be like that person that Miles Monroe talked about, that, you know, some of the best creators and creations that never saw the date of light ended up in the grave with the person who owns it. You know, in retrospect, what that means is, if you have information and you don't pass it out, is knowledge wasted? You know, everybody has something to teach somebody else. Think about it. Why does Portable have a fan base? What is he saying that makes so much sense? Kata Ife. I mean, sometimes I look at his streams. I can't sit down and watch all his streams, but sometimes I look at his streams, you know, the clips and the 5 or 10 minute reels or stories that come up on social media. And I'm thinking to myself, but yet he has followers, you know, and this is someone who's hasn't got a physical product behind his brand or behind his, you know, his streams. He just has himself there. How much more you that you have a physical product behind it? Why are you not showcasing these things? Why are you not saying these are my skills? This is what I have out there, and just continually put it out there consistently? Why has fear captivated you? Why has overthinking paralyzed you? Why has, you know, not taking action just left you in a comfort zone? Why were you rocking back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, thinking we're moving forward whilst we're still in the same position? And that's where I've got to now, that regardless of what it takes, I've got to put it out there, because it's only whilst you do these things consistently that you'll be able to gain momentum. Overthinking, number one, will paralyze you. Fear will captivate you. The only thing that sets you free, that I figure out, is taking action. And when you take actions, you're actually winning in two ways. You're winning, one, by showing up for taking action. And second way of you winning is by knowing what not to do or what has failed that you won't want to do again. So either way, they're all lessons learned, and it's a win-win situation in every situation and every circumstances you find yourself. So it's not a failure. And that being said, 2026 is important to reinvent what we think as failure. Listen, your best people, that when you're going to look at old videos of Davido and Wizkid, like, to compared to what they are today now, you see that, These people, you in fact, you look at those old times, even though they're hits, you think, this is failure compared to what it is. But there's a process of growth. It's a process of them knowing, oh, this is what worked then. Okay, this is what didn't work then. I'm going to reinvent this. I'm going to do this, and grow and grow. And as you grow, you build people along. You bring people along. You create a fan base that's bigger and larger, that's more receptible. And there's no difference to anyone else. There's no difference to me that I'm talking now. I figure we got to that stage where we just have to be courageous enough to understand and know the space we're in at this point in time, and keep, using every tool that society gives us, technology gives us, you know, to to leverage upon it and move forward. So 2026, let's reinvent failure. Let's understand that failure is data. As I said, it will make us win when we show up, and it will make us win when we fail, because we know what not to do next time. So yeah, that's what I said. Go out there, um, build your brand, share your insights, make your voice heard, direct eyeballs to your creation, keep pushing. The only thing that will change the algorithm is consistency. Nothing ever starts from a lot. It starts from one step being pushed in front of the other. So yeah, if this video today resonates with you like it's resonated with me, and it's encouraged me once again to go for the next week, you already know what to do. Share it to another person. By doing so, you're taking action. And if you have yours to put out there, put it out there. Don't watch nothing, as they say. Don't think about what people will say. Don't think whether it's perfect or not. Prioritize execution over perfection. Execute, execute, execute. Perfection would come in the line of execution. If you don't execute it, you don't know whether it's going to be perfect or not. Until I speak to you again, word is enough for the wise. Peace and happy Sunday. Bless.